Each week, we like to break down the stories from the three levels of government with CTV political commentator Scott Reed, who joins us now in studio. Good morning, Scott. Great to talk to you. I feel like we have a lot to talk about today.
There's a lot going on.
There's always a lot going on.
Politics. There's no summer for politics.
No, there really isn't. I feel like it's an incredibly busy time. We're going to start, though, south of the border. Still, so much discussion surrounding that debate, a sense of disappointment from a lot of people. What are your thoughts on where the Biden administration goes from here?
Well, it's a full-fledged crisis, and they've executed a deeply, strongly focused rebut where they're pushing back and saying Biden is staying. It was just a bad night. Move along. He isn't stepping down. You cannot remove him. Carry on, carry forward. Great. So what's that mean? What that means, and it matters for us at the federal level here and every other level in Canada, is that Trump is on course to win. Like, he was on course to win those vital swing states prior to the debate. That's why the Democrats wanted that debate. And after that faceplant by Joe Biden, where he put so many doubts in the minds of Americans as to whether or not he has the fundamental capacity to serve as president 4 years from now, in 86. You have to assume then Justin Trudeau, his team, the federal government, and by the way, you know, those that aspire to be the federal government, like the Conservatives, too, all have to be thinking, oh my God, what would the reality of a second Trump presidency mean? What's it going to mean for trade? Trump says that he's going to put a 10% import tax on everything. That would be punishing for us. Says he wants to renegotiate, i.e. tear up the free trade agreement. It's not clear that he will continue with the investments for the auto sector, which we're working with the U.S. on. It's not clear what he would do with respect to NATO, collective security. This is going to be the galvanizing factor in federal politics for the next year. If Trump wins, every other issue will feel small. It doesn't necessarily give Justin Trudeau a new lease on life. I don't think he's getting a new lease on life. But it sure is going to be a giant game of 52-card pickup for Canadian politics. Yeah,
there's so much uncertainty. It's difficult to prepare for, I'm sure. But I also want to ask you, you mentioned, Biden's team saying, oh, he had a bad night. When the stakes are this high, can you have a bad night, a bad debate?
No, there's no mulligan on this. And there's an eye test. People look and say, is this person too old to be president? He did everything imaginable, everything nightmarishly imaginable if you're a Democrat, to reinforce the idea in people's minds that no, he is not up to it. He's not capable of being president. Obviously, for large portions of any given day, somebody else must be president because he doesn't appear to be in command.
Yeah, all eyes south of the border for that one. And I mean, November is quickly approaching.
Moving
on to provincial politics, announced last week, Doug Ford removing Goldie Garland-Mallory from the PC caucus. Pretty significant move. And I'm wondering, what kind of conversations maybe happened behind the scenes before that happened. She says, one door closes, another one opens moving forward. What do you make of all that?
My guess is the conversations were short and brutal. And if you look at the pattern of the Ford government, and if you know some of the people associated with the political operation with Doug Ford, they are swift on these issues and they are severe about it. So if you step out of line on these issues, and she stepped ridiculously out of line. Meeting with this far-right lunatic in the United States, or from the United Kingdom, who gets arrested here in Canada. She's defending him, then says she had no idea about his background. Really? Well, why in hell are you meeting with him? And none of it passed the smell test. But time and time again, Doug Ford has moved swiftly. If you step out of line, we saw it with Roman Babar as an example, Randy Hillier, they will move and they will remove you. And it's an interesting contrast with how Pierre Poilievre handles these matters of controversy and these flirtations with some of the far-right stuff that you see. Roman Babar, unacceptable for Doug Ford, is actually now going to be a nominated candidate for Pierre Poilievre. So it's going to be interesting to watch that tension and see if it ever explodes or splits open between federal and provincial Conservatives.
And I don't think we've heard from the Premier on that decision from last week just yet. So I'm sure maybe an opportunity to ask a question there this week. We'll see.
For sure. And when you do, he's going to say, that's the way it goes. You're on the team or you're off the team. And if you know the rules and you don't play by them, expect to get the boot.
Another topic, Olivia Chow, I can't believe this, almost 1 year now as mayor. We've seen a lot of change in this city. Some people, sharing concerns. And I know when she came in, she had this really high approval rating. How do you think people feel that she's doing so far when you're in here?
I don't think that you can rate her first year as anything other than success. If you're looking at it objectively, her approval rating remains very high. She appears to be in clear command of City Council. She got that huge, big tax increase budget through.
Yeah,
she still appears to be pretty much in command of council. You talk to people that have to interact and transact with the municipal government. It's clear that all roads lead through the mayor's office. So she's in a pretty strong position. But you do see that her fundamental ace that she plays over and over and over again is all the troubles are a consequence of what she inherited.
Yeah.
So she constantly points to, hey man, it was a big mess. I came in here. I had to clean it up. That line lasts only so long. Soon, she's going to be looking toward re-election. First, will she run again? Second, if she does run again, how long can she blame prior administrations for all the sins? The city feels all bottled up. You can't move. People are unhappy. I think she has to really think about how does she navigate that sentiment, because she cannot continue to just lay it off on the previous administration. At some point, people are going to say, you're the boss and you're accountable.
Yeah, accountable, absolutely. Something we'll be following closely as well. Scott, thank you so much. I feel like we never have enough time to talk about all these topics. It's a pleasure seeing you. Have a great week.
See you soon.